So if you've seen my Kung Fu Panda 1 review, you know that this franchise is one of the best franchises to come out of DreamWorks, probably being in second place after How to Train Your Dragon. The second and the third film are also just as good, and they follow the themes of what this franchise is about, being true to oneself, family, and a sense of belonging. I'm going to be honest, Kung Fu Panda 3 left things on a brilliant high, and it would have been a perfect way to finish the franchise off. But lo and behold, I think it's no surprise we have a fourth movie in the franchise, in which this movie isn't bad, but I am starting to worry if this franchise has done all it can at this point. Hi there, it's me, the Average Critic. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you like animated films just like I do, and let's talk about Kung Fu Panda 4, a film that could have been great. So Kung Fu Panda 4 has some of the highest highs and the lowest lows. Firstly, the cast are all doing a wonderful job in the film. Jack Black has proven himself not just in this franchise but in others to be a very good voice actor. Same can be said for the whole cast. New and old characters are played very well. The issue is how they use these characters. The center of the story is mainly around Po and Zhen, which is fine, but Kung Fu Panda, while has always been fun because of Jack Black's amazing performance, he is nothing without his supporting cast. In the past, Po was always surrounded by a fun cast of characters to ground the franchise, giving Po something to bounce off. The problem is, while Zhen is an okay character, she has nothing on the seriousness and wisdom of Master Shifu, or even the humor and unconditional love of his adopted father Ping. I wanted to care more about Zhen, as she very much reminds me of how Nick Wilde was in Zootopia. She just isn't as disheartening or even well written as Nick Wilde. They tried to give Zhen a more grounded and tragic backstory, but it sadly falls a little bit flat. I found their interactions to be basic and simple compared to others in the past. DreamWorks are known for giving us some incredibly entertaining villains over the years, and even especially in this franchise. With Tai Lung and his tragic backstory and his relationship with Master Shifu, Lord Shen was the Thanos of the franchise, and General Kai and his anger for his old friend Master Oogway. Kung Fu Panda villains have always been about their relationships with other characters, giving them amazing reasons for being the way they are. And while the chameleon has an interesting idea of being rejected by Kung Fu masters because of her size and shape, there is a brilliant idea of her need to change, which of course being a chameleon is a really clever idea and theme for her character. Only problem is, they don't go too much into detail about her past. There is even a brilliant moment of seeing how manipulative the chameleon is to her adopted daughter when she tells her always to stand up straight. It's very condescending and almost reminds me of Tangled with Mother Gothel. But again, it isn't as well executed compared to other characters of the past. Compared to something like the relationship of Master Shifu and Tai Lung, and how that carries on into Master Shifu's relationship with Tigress. It's a very small moment which is done infinitely better than in this film. Speaking of Tai Lung, Ian McShane reprises his role for a few amazing moments, and I adore the acceptance of Tai Lung accepting Po as the Dragon Warrior. The film also splits a little bit as it follows Po's fathers following Po closely behind, and to be fair, these two characters are easily the funniest characters in the franchise, as well as one of the most moving. Ping and Lee have given us some of the most emotional and heartfelt words of wisdom throughout the franchise for Po, and while again they do show up to give that advice, it isn't nearly as effective as the advice he has given in the past. Obviously, this film's theme on change is a strong one, but it's never given enough time to blossom into what this film needed. We are never really given enough time for Po and Zhen to talk and bond because something is constantly happening. And while this franchise is known for its awesome action sequences, which this film does very well by the way, its characters are never given time to breathe and communicate what they are feeling at the time. And when it does, it cuts short for another action sequence. And while you could contribute this way of moving the story forward so the kids don't get bored, the first movie has plenty of beautiful reflecting moments between Po and Shifu where they show their relationship developing. And while I can definitely feel people in the comment section saying it's a kung fu martial art movie, it's all about the action and it's for kids, martial art movies have always had deeper themes and a time for characters to talk and interact. It's not all about the action, guys. The music of Kung Fu Panda has always been a favorite of mine. With Hans Zimmer at the helm, I always thought it was impossible not to enjoy a piece of music by him. Until now. The franchise has some of the most beautiful composed music in any animated film. Its music is very traditional, Oogway Ascends being one of my all-time favorites. They always captured the style of the movie with thought and depth. But this movie, despite being composed by Hans Zimmer, was lacking. Throughout the movie, I assumed he wasn't even involved, and then came the credits and he was there. The previous films, Hans Zimmer scored the third movie alone and the first two with John Powell, who is also an incredible composer and is also known for the How to Train Your Dragon franchise, another series with incredible music. However, in the fourth movie, he is joined by Steve Mazzaro, and considering Hans Zimmer's and John Powell's track record, this is clearly the change that didn't work well for the franchise. Steve Mazzaro is known for incredible films like Dune, No Time to Die, but also some disappointing ones like Pirates of the Caribbean 5 and The Dark Phoenix. But considering how amazing the music is in the previous films, perhaps Hans Zimmer should have just stuck to working alone. Kung Fu Panda had all the right things to make a successful movie. Making Po have his own successor and student is an obvious step in the right direction. Its themes on change is a wonderful way to structure your movie, and it is supported by a villain who matches that. The voice casts are all doing an amazing job, and the action sequences all kick ass. But sadly, the way it chooses to present its story feels all jumbled in the wrong order. I wanted more from the relationship between Po and Zhen and the chameleon, and other supporting characters to make up for some more heartfelt, interesting scenes. But I don't think we ever expected the Kung Fu Panda franchise to be what it was. A film series with Jack Black, who is an incredibly gifted comedic actor about a panda who learns Kung Fu, to give us a franchise with meaning, strong emotional themes, and great characters. So considering the fourth movie to be as good as it was is actually a surprising accomplishment. This film is okay. It's got some great action sequences and some incredible performances, but it struggles to give itself meaning as to why this film exists. Kung Fu Panda flew too close to the sun and got burnt. It's a classic example of why some franchises should quit while they are ahead. I doubt we have seen the last of this franchise or even Poe's story, and I think the audience after this film will be wondering why they even bothered carrying on. So after all that, it gets my professional rating of 7 out of 10, and it gets my personal rating of 5 out of 10. It's almost incredible the film was as good as it was, considering it's the fourth movie in a franchise. But comparing how good the franchise is, it's incredibly disappointing, as it had all the cogs to make a good movie, but it put them all in the wrong order. The cast, the characters, everything that is involved in this movie could have been really great. They just need to rewrite the story a little bit, and it could have been really good. It's just a bitter disappointment. So thank you for joining me in this video. Let me know in the comment section what are some of your thoughts on Kung Fu Panda 4 and the franchise itself. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to smash that like button and subscribe to the channel for more great content on all things animation, and catch me on all my social media platforms as well. Thank you so much for watching me, guys, and I will see you all in the next one.